A warm welcome and very good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you all for the Toppers Talk, Series 7, India and Beyond, about the Indian Foreign Service by Mr. Rajnish Patidar IFS. Now, I request our beloved principal, Dr. Devasundari ma'am, to give the welcome address. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Ramya. Good morning to all who have joined today, who is in the meet today. It's a pleasure for me and honor, in fact, to welcome you all this morning for the 7th session on this of this Toppers Talk by Mr. Rajnish. He's posted as the 3rd secretary at the Embassy of India, Moscow in Russia. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invite and being with us. Actually, though this 7th session, though we say that it is a 7th session, every month we have one session on this Toppers Talk. Our Civil Services Club covered IDAS, IRS, IFS, Indian Forest Service, IAS, IPS. This is the first time we have brought in an Indian Foreign Service. And every time when this session happens, we look forward to listen from all the officers who join us. But today it's very special for me, especially. When I came across your profile, Ramya was telling about how from a humble background, you from a village, you rose to getting into an IIT Kharagpur and doing electrical engineering itself is a big achievement in life, and after that getting into a MNC, and from there, especially, as studying, preparing for UPSC and getting into Indian Foreign Service, it's a dream of any civil service aspirant. So I think I'm personally looking forward to listen to your session today and the hurdles you faced and how you came across all of that. And I think all my students will be, it will be really motivating for all the students, all of them who have joined here today. Thank you so much again, and welcoming you for today's session, and also wishing you all the very best in your career and life forward. And I'm sure all the other aspirants who have joined today from our campus, and also from the other external participants from different states, they have registered, and they are also who are preparing for the exams who have joined here. Welcome you all for this virtual session. And I think from every session, you would have understood how much the journey of each and every officer from where they started and from where they are placed. I think really it would be motivating all of you. Welcome you again for all your efforts and for this virtual session. I also extend my warm welcome to all the deans, heads of departments, all my colleagues, and all the others who have joined today. And thank you so much again for the session, Ramya. We always look forward for this session, and once again on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much again, and looking forward to hear.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I'm immense happy to introduce an eminent person, Mr. Rajnish Patidar IFS, presently posted as 3rd Secretary at the Embassy of India, Moscow in Russia. He is also undergoing a course on Russian language, history and literature at the Institute of Russian Language and Culture, which is part of Moscow State University. By education, sir is an engineer. He did his BTech and MTech with honors from IIT Kharagpur at the Department of Electrical Engineering. After graduation, he was placed in an MNC, but chose to prepare for UPSC Civil Services exam and was selected for the Indian Foreign Service batch of 2020. He comes from a humble background of a farming community from a village in Madhya Pradesh. His hobby is reading, especially world history, literature, and international relations. He loves to watch world cinema, write poems in Hindi, and play badminton. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all the participants. Good morning to Principal Ma'am, Ramya, and everyone who joined. First of all, I should thank the KCG College of Technology. I come from the technology background, so it's a special pleasure for me to join another engineering college and share whatever experience that I can. So I thank Dr. Devasundari, the principal ma'am, and Ramya for connecting us. And good morning to all the participants. And now I hope that I can provide some useful experience for the civil services examination in a short span of time, so that after the session you are more clear about the preparation rather than more confused. So I think we can begin now.
Yes, thank you, sir, and welcome to the portals of our institute. Now, we have a fireside chat with our student, Ayush, third year electrical student, who aspires to become an IFS officer like you. He'll be joining with us and we'll have a chat, sir. So the first question is, there is a myth always, only toppers can crack civil service exam. Have you been a topper during your school or college days, sir?
Okay, so civil services examination is one of the toughest examination in our country, and naturally one requires good aptitude for the academics to clear this thing. But this does not mean that you have to be topper throughout your life. You have to be topper in the civil service examination, not necessarily all the time before. But telling from the experience, the people who join the civil services are not necessarily the toppers in their school, but they are good in their studies. And sometimes there are cases when even the people have failed in school or in college, and they have still been able to clear the examination. The one example I can give you is of Mr. Gaurav Agrawal, who topped the examination in 2013, and he was from IIT, but faced some difficulties in college, but still topped the examination. And more than that, it is my own example where I also faced a lot of difficulties in the college because I had to switch from a technology academics to sort of humanities and social sciences oriented examination. So it was difficult for me, but still I could clear this examination. And this is, I think, a myth that you have to be a topper, but you have to be good in the academics. You cannot be careless about the academics. So if you are in the school right now, if you're in the college right now, do study, but that does not mean that those two things are connected. You have to be good in the exam, not necessarily before it.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that answer, sir. So we would like to know what fascinated you to become an IFS officer, and is there any incident or any person who would inspire you to choose this service?
First of all, welcome, Ayush. I'm very happy to know that you also want to join the IFS. So all the best for that, and
thank you, sir.
Hope that one day you will be my colleague. Okay, so why IFS? The way I approached the civil service examination was I wanted to be a civil servant. And in the civil services, what it has to offer are the 24 services, from 1, 2, 3, 2, 4 to 24. And out of those services, I thought IFS is for me because I had interest in the international relations. My subject was political science and international relations, so you can understand from that point of view. And I wanted to see the world beyond India. I really believe that the 50% of the opportunities for our country's development lies outside our country. And the clear logic for that is if you see the data, nearly 50% of our trade is foreign trade based. And if you see any other world power, whether the Great Britain, United States, or Soviet Union, they have all depended on what is going on beyond their borders for their own development. So I genuinely believe that half of the story of our country's development is outside, and that's what fascinated me more to join the foreign services. Besides, of course, I wanted to explore different cultures, wanted to travel a few places in the world, and wanted to meet a certain kind of people. So those are the things which motivated me to join the IFS.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
There was no particular incident. It was just a career choice that I made, that okay, these are the career options. This is how I should try to do it.
Thank you for that answer, sir. We would like to know, how was the support system in your family during your preparation, and how did it help you along the journey?
Yes, so this examination is a challenging examination, and if you have seen the Spider-Man movie, many of you might have seen it, and the girlfriend of the Spider-Man says that even the Spider-Man needs help. So no matter how strong you are, or how good in academics, or how good mentally strong you are, but this examination challenges you from many points of view, and that is why you require a good support system. You require the help of your teachers and everything. But beyond that, it is your family. because there will be many downs where only your friends, your true friends, very close friends, and your family can come to help you. Your family can help you financially, emotionally, sometime during the examination time, like mine, when in the between the prelims and the mains, my mother lived with me. She cooked nice homemade food for me, which also helps in the examination, because if you eat good, then your mind would be not very full of anxiety and all that. You'll be calm. So family helps you in every way, and especially for this examination, because it's a long journey. And in the long journey, it's not always the same. There are downs, there are difficulties. And in those difficult times, your family comes to help you and sort of put you back on the track.
Thank you for that answer, sir. Thank you.
Sir, you represent India abroad, protect Indian nations abroad, and must be prepared for posting anywhere across globe. How you prepared yourself for the service?
So you don't prepare yourself for this kind of thing. You just land up and then you sort of get the reality. But as I said earlier also that I wanted to join the foreign service. So I knew that I would be posted abroad, and but once you get in the service, then only you understand both the good and the challenges of the postings abroad. So there are many challenges, but there are a lot of good also. So it is just that you have to take it in that way. Whatever the good aspect, you have to enjoy it, you have to cherish it, and you have to make use of it. It's not just that you are going as a tourist. You are here for a purpose. You're on a mission to make friends, to project India, to learn the mindset of the other world. I'm right now posted in Russia, so I'm not here as a sightseeing person. I'm not going to just go around and see the places and come back to India. I have to understand the Russian society, especially the Russian political class, and see how they think, what is their view about India, and how we can take it forward. So you don't exactly prepare. You go and then you adjust to the reality. You learn and you sort of make the best of it. Whatever are the challenges, again there are challenges. So those also you have to sort of be prepared for that and rise up to that. Because living in a foreign country may not always be as smooth. There are different, Europe or London or US, it's easy because English language is there, and a lot of Indians are there. But there are many parts of the world where you won't find Indians, or you won't find Indian cuisine or Indian language or Indian clothes or even Indian mindset or Indian values. So it could be a completely different environment, and yet you have to slowly familiarize yourself with it, and then you get into your comfort zone, and then you learn, and that's what basically the job is.
Sir, can you share any interesting experience you had as an IFS officer?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by interesting, but I think one of the interesting experience after joining the IFS or after joining the civil services was to meet with the important people in the country. So whether meeting the Prime Minister at Mussoorie, he couldn't meet us personally, like in a physical mode, but we met him in a live manner on the through virtual mode, and it was interesting. Can't share all the details. And then when I was in Delhi at the Foreign Service Institute, we again met a lot of ex-ambassadors, sometimes foreign ambassadors, ministers. Like we met Dr. Jaishankar, and a very great personality, and I was completely absorbed by what he was saying. Meeting even people from the intelligence background, like the chief of RAW. Again, can't share what exactly happened there. And the one interesting experience, but was to meet the French ambassador. And I asked him some question. I said that Napoleon wanted to be the superpower of France, and he replied that really Napoleon wanted to be the superpower. He wanted to spread the fruits of liberty and equality. And I said, sir, that is one side of it. And he started laughing. And those are the experiences.
Okay, sir. Sir, how you deal with different peoples, like leading members of the society, an ordinary person, or any cultural or a person or politicians, your experience with them when you're working as an IFS officer?
Can you repeat a little bit? I missed it.
Okay, I'll repeat it, sir. So how you deal with different people, like leading members of society, an ordinary person, or any cultural person or politician, your work experience as an IFS officer with them, sir?
IFS, one of the reason which I missed, and really thank you for asking this question. One of the reason I joined the IFS is you get to meet a wide variety of people. You meet the common people also, not necessarily in India, because in India we work in Delhi, and in Delhi you don't get so many opportunities. But even in India, there are the ministry looks after the passport offices, and today because of the diaspora, so many normal people, common people who are the citizens of India, you deal directly with them. And even outside the country, many countries like in the Gulf or even developed countries, you get to meet the ordinary citizens of India. But other than that, you meet people from the political class, from the cultural class, from the business class. So it is just, I just joined it. So I do not have that wide experience. But even in this small experience, I have been able to meet Dr. Hardeep Singh Puri. He just came to Moscow last week, and I was one of the persons who went to receive him. Business people we have not been able to meet yet, but economic diplomacy is a very strong aspect of our diplomacy in today's times. And even the Eastern Economic Forum Summit, which happened in Vladivostok. So I have just joined it, but many of my colleagues who are a bit 1 or 2 years senior, they went there, and many business delegations have come there. Culture class, again, there are Jawaharlal Nehru centers, and we project our Indian culture, especially our classical dances. I just went on the Janmashtami to one classical dance event, and there you meet people who are singers, dancers, who are musicians. So that is one of the important reasons for me to join, that you will get to meet a variety of people. Besides, you'll meet also people from the armed forces, because you have a very strong interface with them. And we don't say it, but of course you meet people from the intelligence background, because in international relation, espionage or intelligence is all part of the game. So I think you get to meet a wide variety of people. I'm sure this is also true with the other services, but it is more true and very much true from the experience, I can say, for the Indian Foreign Services. And it is one of the special pleasures that you get to meet a variety of people, and then you can learn and imbibe whatever good you can find in them.
Thank you so much for that answer, sir. We learned a lot. So just like you, a lot of people here also want to be an IFS officer. And we're very curious how you managed to learn a new language, and was there any difficulties? And can you just help give us some tips or some advice as to how even we can learn some new language later?
Okay. I have not yet learned the Russian language. I'm still learning it, as it was said that I'm undergoing a course, which is part of the Lomonosov Moscow State University. And it has been just a week or two for our classes, and I've been able to now read the Russian language with not like a smoothly or very fluency, but I've been able to recognize the letters and can make the sound of it. So learning a new language is, of course, always a challenge. In our country, we have so many languages. So we are a little bit better, I would say, with respect to other parts of the world, because we already know English, we know our mother tongue, and sometimes we also know the other languages. So it requires discipline, basically, to learn the new language. You have to be a student in the classroom, like in the first class or the second class. So I mean, you are now, I'm adult, proper adult, but when we go to the university, our teacher treats us like we are some first year or second year classes student, and so we learn all those alphabets and sounds, then we repeat, and then we talk with the normal people, like with taxi drivers, shopkeepers, or with other students if sometimes we meet them, or we talk among each other. The more practice you do, the more sounds you recognize, the more emphasis on which word there is emphasis, or the nuances of the language that you get, because every language could have different nuances. The same sound may not, the same spelling may sound, give two different sound in two different languages. So those are the kind of things you have to notice, and just simple hard work, practice, and slowly pick up, and more practice you do with normal people, very easily you can learn the new language.
Okay, sir. So coming to your preparation part, so there may be few ups and downs during your preparation. So how will you managed your load time? So how you kept your motivation always during the preparation?
I'll tell you both about the ups and downs. The up in the civil services is that whenever you study very well for 3 days, you feel like I'm going to clear this examination now, and you are full of confidence. And then there are some times when you feel like, oh God, this is the toughest examination, so much uncertainty, so much competition, objectivity. It's not going to happen. So I think you need to be prepared for those downs. And in those downs, you don't need to waste your time. When you, of course, don't feel very positive, enthusiastic, energetic, you are not then focused on your work or your task, or in this case, your studies. But it is right exactly in that time that you, for that which you have to be prepared. Like whenever you feel down, you need to recognize that, okay, I'm not feeling really great about my life or the exam. You need to take a little bit of break, like you can just sleep off. The best thing is sleep for 1 hour, talk to your family for a half hour, and then remember why you wanted to do this, why you wanted to join the civil services. Go back to your original motivation, whether it was because you wanted a job security, because you wanted to show off to your neighbors that now I become IAS or IPS or IFS, or you wanted to gain power, or you wanted to make money, or you just wanted the prestige and wanted to serve the country. Whatever is your motivation, the strongest aspect of that motivation, you need to go back to it, and that motivation would be sufficient to bring you back and restore your confidence and your normalcy for the examination. And otherwise, do take the help of the family. Sleep. Sometimes sleep is also the reason. Eat properly. Read something or watch a movie, or just go out. Don't be sort of get dragged by that down period. You have to recognize. The first thing is to recognize it. Recognize it that now it's going to be down, and if I don't do anything about it, it will waste my 1 or 2 day or even a week. So the earliest you recognize that I'm not feeling very great, you need to take some remedial action, and then you'll be back. It's very natural. It happens with the best, even the toppers. And whoever says it doesn't happen, they're lying. It happens with everyone, even who clear in the first attempt or second attempt, because it is very natural. Many people would say this.
Thank you for that answer, sir. So, what are the most common mistakes you think aspirants make? What are the most common things you might have seen some other people who are preparing as well that they made during the preparation?
So this actually I can answer based on my own experience, because to be frank, it took me quite a lot of time to clear this examination. It took me 4 attempts, 5 years, and if you add a little bit of time in college, even more time. So when it takes a lot of time, obviously I also made mistakes. That proves that mistakes were made. And I made a lot of mistakes. So I will answer it not based on others' experience, but my own experience. Plus, I will, of course, add whatever I've gained from others. One mistake I think people make is they do work hard, but the direction is not proper. And the reason their direction is not proper because they don't know what is the requirement of the examination. And the best way to get the requirement of the examination is there are only two sources which UPSC directly gives. One is their syllabus and one is their previous year question papers. These are the only two things that come from the civil service, from the UPSC, which conducts the civil service examination. Everything else is either said by people like me who have cleared, or people who teach in the institutes, or just normal thing that you get from the newspapers or coachings and things like that. UPSC only gives you syllabus and the previous year questions. So if you go through that very carefully, not once, but make it your constant companion. In syllabus, you'll get the broad idea that these are the components of the syllabus: history, culture, these, that, etc., including your optional. And through the previous year questions, you understand that what is the interpretation of that syllabus, how UPSC interprets that syllabus. Just because you've gone through the syllabus it won't help you that much unless you go through and tally it with the previous year question. Then you will get the proper idea that this is the whole of the examination. And if you make it your constant companion, if you keep going through them again and again till the last day of your preparation, let me tell you, you will be in the most right direction, because there cannot be a more right direction than what direction you get from the UPSC itself, which is through their syllabus and previous year questions. It's like I keep telling people, whoever asks me, that there is a God, and there is a priest, and there are the worshippers. So, what happens is that the worshipper approaches the God through the priest. What you can do is you can directly approach the God. So here the God is the UPSC, and the UPSC gives only two things: syllabus and the previous year question. You don't need the priest in between. You don't need the coaching institutes. I mean, I don't want to criticize anyone, but this is my idea, that just directly speak to the God. Just go through the syllabus, previous year questions, and you will be very much in the safe direction. What you need to do is you need to make it a constant command. Go through them again and again. Always keep them with you. And then this is the most common mistake I think I have found, because we take it lightly. Okay, the syllabus is written. Okay, I know broad. Okay, these are type of question. Now let me go and read these and that. That is where actually you make the mistake. If you keep your focus on this thing, and then accordingly streamline your preparation, then based on that, if you take guidance from others, you will be in the most right direction, and that way you will be able to clear it in a optimum amount of time. Besides that, other mistakes is like reading too much or not revising, not practicing the answer writing practice. So you need to do all those things, and sort of referring too many books. What you need to do is take less number of books and keep going through them again and again, and revising and expressing yourself. Not just keep reading and reading and reading. Try to express yourself, write few sentences, make small notes where you can write some keywords, some key data. In the examination, while you write the examination, you need to understand what is the requirement of the question. Sometimes the requirement of the question is that just to need to give more and more information, like in the general studies. In general studies, it is not important how well you have written it. If your optional is like political science or something related with social science, you need to write in paragraphs and make proper sentences. But in the general studies, it is mostly you understand the question and write the different points. The more points you write, the more marks you will get. In essay, it could be a different requirement. In essay, you have to frame it. You write introduction, you have to use a little bit of poetry, quotations. You have to then give a good conclusion. You have to analyze. Similarly, in the ethics, again, you have to sometimes even appeal from the emotional point of view to the examiner, because it relates with values and morality. So you have to understand the requirement of different questions and different papers. If you apply the same approach to every paper, then it won't give you that good marks. If you differentiate, then it will be much better. And these are the kind of things I think we normally write in the beginning, we can't understand. So if you understand it from the beginning, the previous year question, syllabus, different requirements, revising, less sources, a little bit of answer writing, expressing, I think you'll be in a very good direction and you'll be able to clear it very efficiently.
That's a very good explanation, sir. Like a preliminary exam is the one which is stopping an aspirant to become a civil servant. So what is your advice for the candidates who are taking exam in 2021, which is in nearly 28 or 29 days? And also please add on the CSAT thing also, sir, because nowadays in the past 2 years, CSAT is becoming very tough. Those who are clearing GS1 are also failing in the CSAT. So your advice for them?
So really best wishes for those who are facing the examination on 10th October, I think, right?
Yes, sir. It is on 10th October.
So all the best and good luck. You can all clear it with flying colors. There is still enough time. So one by one, I will go. Prelims examination, I had given it 4 times, and for the first time I couldn't clear it, but all other 3 times I cleared it. And if you believe me, once I prepared only for 35 days, another time I prepared for 25 days, and once I prepared because I had more time, so I prepared for more time, the last final attempt. But the point is, even in 25 days, you can clear it. Otherwise, before those 25 days, I never took prelims like now I'm preparing for the prelims. So it's just a 1 month, 20, 25 days, 30 days kind of affair. If you prepare it very intensively, you can do it. And I always said that there are 3 pillars for the prelims. One is that you go through your basic sources. You go through that history, that culture, that geography, that environment, that science and tech, and very some small sources, not any big multiples. As I said, no need for big, too many sources, just some one or two sources. Go to them. That's one pillar. Second pillar is you abreast yourself with the current affairs. Either you are reading the newspapers or you have some short notes from some coaching institute, which you can go through it. And the third is where you actually practice the questions, both the previous year questions and some new test series. And you analyze it, where you got it right, where you got it wrong, how could you have got it right if not necessarily always through knowledge, but some guesswork or some elimination, rejection, these and that. These are all available on the internet. People will tell you the same things, but you need to go through it diligently. So go through those, make sure that all your three pillars are strong. That you have gone through your basic sources, you are good with current affairs, fairly good with current affairs because there is no end to it, and you have practiced enough. And if you do it within, you can do it within 20, 30 days. That's what I did actually. And the one special thing I would suggest for the prelims is just keep your nerves calm. The answer is written there. And sometimes without knowing anything about the question, you can still answer it. If you just apply your mind, if you're cool, assume that you won't know everything. Out of the 100 questions, you will only know with full confidence the answer to 30 questions. Okay, and 20 questions you would not know in any case. So there will be 30 you would know with full confidence, 20 you would never know, 50 is left. It is in this 50 you have to work your magic. And that magic is you keep your nerves calm. The answer is there, just apply your mind. You must have read something here and there, something would be connected. I can give you a lot of examples from my experience, but a little bit forgetting them. But there was one question where it was a simple question, some Sthanak Vasi, and the question was, the term Sthanak Vasi refers to which religion? And there were 4 options were given. And one option was there, which I thought here in this, like it was about, the answer was Jainism. And I thought in Jainism, they do it, they just sit on a place and keep meditating and this and that. And but I thought, what if I'm wrong? So I did not mark it. But when I later on checked it, it was the correct answer. So, and this one I missed, but there were many which I got right through this kind of sort of applying your mind. So this is the one special advice I would give, that no matter how hard you prepare, you would still be facing questions whose answers you would know 50-50 or you won't know it for sure. And it is there, requires this calm nerves, think, apply your mind, some common sense, and whatever instinct is telling you, sometimes it would be wrong, but many times it would be right also. And on the balance, after negative marking everything, it would be on the safe side of getting selected. So that's all. Otherwise, it will require, even now you can, within 1 month, you can clear it with very good margin. Coming to the CSET, yes, even I never prepared for the CSET. People say that since people are from engineering or math or doctor, they don't need to do it. But I used to get very, very less marks in CSET. But never prepared for it. Just again going there with calm mind and seeing, okay, anyway, you need to just get 66.5 marks for that out of 200. So if you are not very confident, practice few papers. Otherwise, you can even go there with calm mind. There is English language is there, some math question. Don't need to ace it and get 150 marks or that much. Just aim for some 100 marks. Even if you get something wrong, you'll end up with 80-90 marks, and that will clear it. So that's all I can give you for CSAT. If you're not confident, practice few papers. That's it. Don't give too much time to it because you have to do other things also.
Okay, so you are preparing from Delhi, and Delhi has its importance for civil service preparation. This pandemic restricts many aspirants to go to Delhi directly and prepare there. What is your suggestion for them?
Yeah, so when I was in Delhi, and I think last year was also the lockdown. And, on 24th March, there was a lockdown. And till that time I was in Delhi. I was in Delhi after that also. So I had seen it that just after the lockdown, everything got closed and people started moving out. The institutes were closed, and still people had to prepare. So life continued still. And I will tell you what is the importance of Delhi. The only importance of Delhi is that UPSC is there and a lot of coaching institutes are there. So whatever material or some assistance you get there. And but the nature of that assistance or that coaching is such that where you just are taking notes. There is no some special knowledge or special explanations you are getting. Most of the, like, I did coaching for the political science. I didn't do it for general studies. I did it for the political science. And what I got from there was good notes. Not like great explanation. You don't need those. If you have good notes, that is enough. And that's what I got. So I did the coaching in 2016 and I used those notes till 2019 examination. So those notes were good enough till that time. So if you can get a good material from anywhere, if you can get it from the internet, if you can get it in Chennai, if you can get it in Hyderabad or Kolkata, it's all fine. And especially in the last 4 or 5 years, especially after the pandemic, many of the courses are run online. The material is available online. So this whole technology really helps you. And you can overcome that Delhi dilemma, or that whatever you call it. You don't need to go there. Many people who don't go there, but I had no option. I come from a village, so I had to go there. There was no other place. It is not always a very good place to live. A lot of challenges there in terms of financial challenges and loneliness, and the environment is not always very positive. Everyone is struggling, and and the food is also a challenge there. Especially if you come from the south, then you probably would find it more challenging. So you can overcome it, but as I said, if you know the direction, if you're confident about the direction, if you know what is the requirement of the UPSC, you can do it from anywhere. You can do it from outside the country, but you need to know what is the requirement. Because if you don't know, then you will require some guidance, and that guidance is given not just in Delhi. Nowadays, it's given in Pune, maybe in Chennai also. So in these places you would have to go. Delhi is just the biggest place among them. It just symbolizes that this is the center where you get some coaching and all that. But this is available in other places also. So you will go here or there. Right? So if you know the clarity about the examination, you can choose what is good, and then you can prepare right sitting in your room, in your wherever, using, and whatever is left, you can fill it through online. Okay.
Thank you for that answer, sir. Sir, political science and international relations was it optional? Would you recommend this optional to somebody else?
Yes, why not? Why won't I recommend? Because it's a really wonderful optional, and more so for me because the very subject is very much connected with my job, and I still keep reading on anything on IR. Like only yesterday I was reading a book on Stalin. But as far as recommending to others, that is something, it is a subjective question, because people might have different things. So choose your optional. I chose it purely based on instinct. In my college, I thought that I like this subject. I have not read even a single book on it, but there was this instinct that I like it. This and this is there, and I can do it. Why not take it? I had no idea what kind of challenges I would face or how much marks are given. No sort of that sort of calculations I went through. The only criteria was that people take it. There is a good content or notes available in the market, and I kind of have a likening for it, and I can do it. If there is something difficult, I will see it. Nothing is so difficult that you can't overcome it. As far as recommending to others, it's a good subject. As far as I know, because this is all internal information, nobody knows what is going on in the mind of UPSC, what will happen next year. But so far, this subject is not facing any heat or any sort of negative efforts from the UPSC side, that people are getting punished or people are getting selected. In fact, they're getting more and more selected. But I won't recommend it just because this optional is getting more success. You should select it based on your own criteria, which is your interest, and if there is some good notes available in the market. These are the two main criteria. And as far as I am concerned, yes, if you like the subject, political science is a good subject. There is no negativity around this subject right now. Yeah, that would be it.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer, sir. So when we write the mains exam and we come home, it's very easy for us to know whether or not we cleared the exam because we'll get the answer keys from somewhere. But this is not the case in mains. So is there a way we can predict whether or not how much marks we'll get? And does our marks does it how does the correction process exactly happen? Because sometimes we see for the same quality of answers, people get very different marks. 2 or 3 marks also makes a lot of difference. So how to predict how much marks we're going to get?
See, this is really a tough question because really no one really knows. To be frank, no one knows how much mark they will get. I know. If you take the reference of the previous year, then you would say, okay, so in the last year in this subject GS1, the average marks were 100, highest were this, and these were the overall marks people were getting. The next year it could be completely different. This year the marks could be very high, the average or median number of marks. The next year it could be very low. So you just have no idea how UPSC. That's why I said in the question before also that UPSC only gives very few information. You don't know too much about it. That's why you need to focus on what they give. The rest is all speculation and whatever is the theories and interpretations of people. So I unfortunately cannot answer you, but I can give you some direction on that answer. Look, one is that whether you have completed the paper or not. Because the more questions you answer, naturally more marks you will get. Okay, and then you need to see, that is the first thing you need to see, whether how many questions you attempted. Second, you need to see whether you answered all the aspects of that question or not. A single question may have 3 aspects. If you have not touched all those 3 aspects, you will not get marks. Even you have filled the paper, when you wrote 3 pages, but you have just dealt with 2 aspects and third aspect is completely missing, then your marks would be less. So first, see whether you completed. Second, see whether you addressed different aspects of the question or not. And third, then you need to see, as I said earlier also, that different papers have different requirements. So have you answered according to that or not? So in the GS, have you given more and more variety of information or not? In the essay and the ethics, have you used a little bit of power of your language, little bit of poetry, little bit of your emotion, those kind of things or not? In your optional, especially in the options like political science or sociology, history, have you written in the paragraph format or not? So if you go through these aspects, in the GS, again, you need to see whether you use a little bit of math, a little bit of data or not. So if you go through all these factors, and if you see, okay, how well or bad you are performing, then you'll get some idea where you will land up. Pure guesswork you cannot do. Only through some sort of analysis you can go there. And these are the 4 or 5 things which I think are important, like whether you completed, whether you addressed all the aspects, whether you used more information in certain papers, whether you used a different approach to other papers like ethics, essay, and this and that, and whether you use maps, diagrams, especially maps and little bit of data which you get from committees or economic survey or budget and all that. That would be it. If you've done all of this, I think you will get selected for the interview for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Final selection.
So coming to the personality test, how have you prepared for your interview? Like, can you share some of your interesting experience in your final interview?
Interview I have given 2 times, and the most interesting experience I would tell you about the interview is that I cleared the examination without getting too many marks in the interview. So for me, that is the most interesting thing. So I became IFS based solely on what I performed in the mains examination. So interview, the interesting experience is just that, when you go to the UPSC, you feel very great. You feel you'll get selected and you really feel nice. They take care of you. They show you where to sit. They come to help you with your documents. Then you're shown around to the room where the panel is sitting. You already know the faces of the chairman or chairwoman before. So you're a little bit excited. And sometimes your parents also come. So the whole experience is in fact interesting. It's not just 1 or 2 incidents. And when you go inside, sometimes you're thrown in interesting questions. Sometimes they can just ask you about your girlfriend or boyfriend. Sometimes they can throw some out of the box question to you. So as such, there was not, it was just a plain normal type of interview. And coming to that, if one advice I can give you is, normally people give the advice that just be yourself, be very honest, and go there and you will fly in the interview. That advice is good, but it will not necessarily be, because I have faced the dark side of the interview, not getting too many marks. So what I have learned is that yes, you have to be honest. I was honest, that's why I did not get too bad marks. Uh, but beyond honesty also you required. What you need to understand is when interviewer is asking you question, you won't be right in the 5 minutes. In the first 5 minutes, probably the mindset of the interview is here and you are somewhere here, or you are in the opposite directions. In those 30 minutes, based on what insights I gained from my friend who scored very high marks, more than 200. In fact, one of my friends lives right in the floor below, who is with me in Moscow. He got 206 marks. Prelims Examination, if you know the name. So the advice I got from such successful people is that you have to be flexible. In the first 5 minutes, your direction and the member's direction would be different. You have to make sure that you two converge, and you have to be flexible. You have to modulate your answers. You have to understand what they're saying, and sort of be very live in time. If you don't change by the end of the 30 minutes, if you're just the same as you entered, then you probably, if you're lucky, you will get. Otherwise, most of the time, our thinking won't match with their thinking. That is basic requirement, that we have to come to their side. They won't come to our level. We have to go to their level, and then you'll get more marks. So understand, if you're going wrong somewhere, change your direction and try to sort of get into their zone. And right in the first few minutes, first 5 minutes, if you're not in the right zone, in the right direction, then understand it. And by the end of the 15 minutes, 20 minutes, get there. And if you can do that, they will appreciate that effort. That, okay, in the beginning, he was not really that, but by the end, he came to our level. And then they'll give you good. If you're same throughout, then they will not. If you're lucky, okay, you are like this and they like you like this, then fine. Otherwise, most of the time it doesn't happen. Most of the time people are different. They have a different personality. We have different personality. So you have to, that shows the smartness. That also shows, okay, this guy has that officer quality, that he can change, he can understand the real life situation, that then change accordingly. It's dynamic. And that you appreciate. So, yeah.
Okay, sir. So now I request Rijula to take the participant questions, because they have posted many questions on the chat and few people wanted to speak to you directly. So first, let us, Rijula.
Yes, ma'am.
She is our final year EC student, sir. So she'll be taking the participants question for us. Please, Rijula.
Yes, ma'am. So the first question is from Vijayta Panjwani. If national politics, developments and policies interest me more than foreign relations, should I absolutely focus on my goal of IAS alone, or should I also attempt to study more of foreign relations to have another option as IFS?
So that's a very interesting thing I have heard from Vijayta, that she's interested in national politics and that's why she wants to join the IAS. Maybe she should join some political party and not the IAS if she's interested in the politics. But it's good to know. It's good to know that she's interested in the politics and interested for the IAS. See, IAS and IFS are not two options. It's the same examination. And you are selected through the same examination. You have to prepare just for one option, and that is the civil services. If you're preparing for some other examination, let us say of the RBI or for the forest service or for any other government exam, then you're thinking of two options. Here the option is this one. You're preparing for the civil service, whatever rank you will get, then you will get your first choice, or you'll get some other choice. But since you are interested in the domestic system more, I would definitely recommend you to follow that instinct. But within that examination, you'll also be required to read on the foreign relations. So if you, by the time, sometime, if you develop some more interest in the foreign relations, then you can always choose IFS as your first choice. And I hope you get that also.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, sir, though I have gone through a lot of meanings and understood the keywords given in answers, still there are minute differences between them, and I don't know how to differentiate between them. The same question is also asked by Anita and Sarneshwar. Both of them have the same question, sir.
Anita and Sarmeshwar. Okay, thank you for the question. I think if I'm getting it right, they probably are confused, like discuss, analyze, critically analyze. Is that so? I hope if that is what it is. So I will give you a very good advice, which I got from a very good teacher and from a lot of people. A lot of these keywords don't mean anything. You have to still write the answer in the same format. Okay. So don't get confused if they say discuss, critically discuss, analyze. Only when they are telling you what is, then you just answer what. Otherwise, everything you have to answer it comprehensively. You have to see the question, understand the different aspects, and then bring out bring variety in your answer. You have to bring the positive side, you have to bring the negative side, you have to bring the political dimension, social dimension, economic dimension, international dimension, all sorts of dimensions that you can bring to your answer. And that will make your answers more complete, more rounded, a more more rich answer rather than just unidimensional or one-dimensional answer. So these keywords don't mean too much beyond a point. Don't think too much about it. Just understand the question and think what are the different variety of points. Diversity is very important in the civil services. So bring diverse number of points and bring both sides. If you have both the sides in your answer, if you have diverse points in your answer is one of the best answers.
Thank you, sir. We have a question from Akash. What's the general role of an IFS officer, irrespective of the departmental work or the ranks?
The general role is, see, IFS officers work in India also and outside India. So I mean, the first Vijayata asked that she's more interested in national politics, so she can still join the IFS because IFS works in India also. And in any case, we are Indian civil servants. We are not the civil servants of Russia or America. So we are anyway need to be aware of our own politics. So just wanted to add that point. General role is, you see, our country, whatever is happening, as I would tell you the statement by Jawaharlal Nehru, where he said that external politics is really the reflection of the internal politics, or whatever is happening outside the country is just the reflection of what is happening inside the country. So inside, our economy is growing, our society is modernizing, our education system is developing, etc. etc. So many things are happening in India, and many of those things find connections outside our country. So if a person has studied at the IIT, then he wants to go and study in the US. So there is an educational relationship between India and US. There's an educational link between India and US. Our armed forces procure equipments from the other countries. We trade with the other countries. We sell our equipments to other countries. We go to help to other countries, especially in the Indian Ocean region, whether to Sri Lanka or the great tsunami 2004 incident is there. So whatever happens beyond our borders, basically IFS has a role in that. And generally, we try to make sure that our country's interests are protected, and we give a good image of our country, of our culture, and people outside have a goodwill for our country. Nobody is our enemy. Still, you would have enemy. We have few enemies, so we deal with them also.
Thank you, sir. Akash has another question. What was your revision strategy for UPSC?
Revision is a very good question, because this is one of the very important points about the preparation. If you're good in revision, let me tell you, you would be in a much superior position with respect to this examination. So, thing with revision is, either there's some people who do it regularly, like every week, but don't worry about that much. What you need to revise, the timing you need to revise is in the last month of the preparation. Like if the prelims, then the last month. If it is the main, then last 3 or 4 months. Okay. So in those crucial time, you need to revise more. So before that, if you don't revise, don't worry about it. Okay. But in the last month of the prelims and the last 3-4 months of the mains, revise. So no strategy, just go through it again and again. If you read history book now, then you're writing a test now, then revise it. If you write a test 15 days after also on the same topic or on the different part of that same paper, then again revise your book. So before the examination, if you're able to revise 3-4 times, 5 times, you would be in a much superior position. You would remember everything, and everything will be sort of internalized in your mind, and you won't need to do the rote thing. You just need to go through it again, and every time. Don't make it a mechanical exercise. Like, okay, you read it, like Pandits or somewhere you have just recited some mantras. Every time when you go, discover something new. Try to consolidate in your mind. Think that, okay, last time you missed this thing, this time you noticed this thing. So that way, your revision would be more and more meaningful every time you do it. But it's a very simple thing. Just go through it. Turn the pages, see, okay, this was written, okay, I know this, okay, oh, new thing, like that. 3-4 times do it in the last phase of the examination, before the examination, and you'll be in a much comfortable position.
Yes, so we have a question from Shubham Patel. How to select optional subjects properly?
Okay, I think I've given a little bit about that. But see, there are, I think, 2-3 aspects which are important. The first is whether you have a general liking for the subject or not. And let me explain a little bit about that. You don't need to be too excited about the option, your subject. Let's say we are talking about history. So it doesn't mean that you have suddenly developed interest of a great historian like Ramchandra Gua or Niall Ferguson or something like that, and you'll become a historian. That is not the kind of interest you require. You just require a general liking. So you will understand. This is all subjective thing. You would know. The person would know. I can't speak for others. So you would know whether you have a general liking for it or not. There are 3 options. Let's say there is a political science, there is a history, and then there is mathematics. So no, math I don't want to do. I can't do it. Now you're confused between history and political science. So then whatever for where you tilt, just choose that. It doesn't make much difference after a point, whether how much you like the subject. If you generally like the subject, if you have confidence that, okay, I like it, I'll be able to read it for sufficient number of years or months, then it's fine. That is the one thing. Second is, since many of us come from the technology background or medical background, so we are not familiarized with a lot of subjects. Even if you come from any background, you are just familiarized with your one subject. If you come from the electrical engineering, you only know the electrical engineering. You don't know the civil engineering. You don't know history, political science. So for most of the subjects are new to us. So it's important to see if you can get some good coaching, some good material at least, whether online, offline, whatever format, some assistance to help you. That is the principle. Not that this coaching is good or that. Whatever help you can get. And you need to analyze, okay, this is where the good help is provided. People have given good reviews on it. So I can, for optional, I would definitely recommend to seek help. As I said before also, when Spider-Man needs help, so seek help in that. And if these 2 things are there, if you have a general liking, if you have a fairly good health in the market, then go for that.
Thank you, sir. I think we have one last question from Anaga K. Murthy. She's asking, may I know if the abroad posting places during the training period are chosen by the IFS officers or whether the government allots them to officers on rank criteria?
Foreign postings. Okay. So in the government, everything is allotted by the government. We don't have too much of a choice. But initially, our rank matters. Like you must have known in the IAS IPS, your rank decides your cadre. Plus luck also. You can have a good rank and still end up in the cadre which is not your first or second preference. In here, like I am here right now in Russia, so I'm here by choice. And if I have got some other rank, then I might not have got it. So your rank decides your language in the first posting. After that, it's really up to the government. Where is the vacancy? where, what is the requirement where. So it is decided by the government. Nowadays, there is some choice. You have some choice, and plus, it is always a fair process in the IFS, in a sense that the countries are marked according to some criteria, like A star, A, B, C, D, and it is made sure that you get posting in all types of places. If you got a posting in a very good place, A star, then expect that down the line you'll also be going to some C post. And if you got a C post now, then expect that you'll get some better post in future also. So it gets well distributed. It's a fair process.
Thank you, sir. Those are the questions from the participants. Over to Ramya ma'am.
Thank you, Regila. Participants, one or two participants, you can raise your hand and you can speak directly to sir, because in between, if you posted on the chat, yeah. Two of them. Okay. Pavan sir, I request you to unmute.
Vijayta can unmute.
Vijayta, yeah, Vijayta, please unmute and.
Good afternoon, sir. Vijayta this side. I am a class 12 student from humanities stream. So my second question, the first one you just answered. So the second one is not necessarily related to the UPSC examination. I just wanted to ask that, keeping all the essential factors in mind, how do you see the possibility of India in gaining a permanent membership of UNSC?
Okay. There is a very big question for me to handle, but I would try. So you see, this UNSC, there are 5 members, permanent members, and this is an exclusive club. And if imagine you are part of some exclusive club, would you want someone else to be there? Right? But so that is the challenge we face. Thing is that these things were created in a very different world, in a post-World War II scenario, where the realities of power were different. And now the realities of power are different. Down 10 years, 15 years, it would be even more different. And the purpose of the Security Council is to make the world more secure. And to make the world more secure, you need players who have credibility, who have the power to make the world secure. And India, I mean, if you see the Indian Ocean, we are considered as a net security provider. So whenever some incident happens, Indian Navy, you can find it there. Even during COVID times, we provided so much of relief for the Indian Ocean. So whoever is going to provide security is going to be a member of that club. And since it is difficult for those who are inside the club to invite new people, so that aspect that challenge we will face. But down the line, as the power changes, as this aspect of the India where it provides security increases, I think India would get invitation. And even if you don't get invitation, it could be a de facto security provider, and that is more important. But this is a challenge, and I really don't have an answer for that. That is what we are trying to do. And I hope that I would be able to make some contribution. We are already now a president of the Security Council. And through these kind of efforts, where you develop a background and bring credentials of India very much the visibility of the people, to the global community to see, that is the kind of strategy chosen by our leaders, and we should continue on that.
Thank you, Vijita. Next, Pavan sir, shall we have Kirtana? She raised her hand.
Yes, 1 minute. Yes, she can.
Vijay,
Hello,
sorry, Kirtana, yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're very much audible. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Hello, sir. Hello. Yes, sir. As you can see, the emerging events that is happening around around India, like Afghanistan issue or China issue, there is a gradual shift towards aspirants for the Indian Foreign Service. So, according to you, what you think the qualities for an aspirant who needs to pursue IFS? And my second question to you is, what is the scope for the female IFS officers? That's it, sir.
Great question. So you have referred to Afghanistan and all that. Yeah. The world is changing very fast. Our position in the world is changing very fast. And I will tell you one statement made by Mr. Saeed Akbaruddin, who was a permanent representative to United Nations and also the spokesperson for the ministry. He said that if we consider our history after independence, our power in terms of our capability is at its peak, and the interest of the world in India is also at its peak. So this is really the best time to join the Indian Foreign Service. Now the qualities you see to become an IFS officer, first you need to clear the examination. So whatever qualities you require to clear the examination, which we dealt in our in this session, I think first thing is to focus on that. Beyond that, just having an interest in our own country, in our own history, in our India, our interest, and having a general interest in the outside world, that's all you require, nothing else. Now, the second question is actually very important, that what is the scope for the female candidates? And I would again tell you that Miss Nirupama Rao, who was the foreign secretary, and she had been very passionate about these issues. And there was a time till 1970s where it was very difficult for the female candidates to be part of the Indian Foreign Service. Like if they get married, they had to leave the job. And there are other issues also they faced. But I think there was one legendary female diplomat, C.B. Muthamma. She fought a case in the Supreme Court, and after that case, things became much better. And nowadays, it's actually very good because in our own batch, 40% of the candidates are women. And I think in 5 years, it will be 50%. So this is really the best time for the women to join the foreign service.
Thank you, Kirtana, and thank you so
Yeah,
much, sir.
they could be even better diplomats because there's so many qualities which women have, which I think men don't have. And so world is clearly changing.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, sir. Now we came to the end of this program. My sincere thanks to Mr. Rajnish, sir, who accepted our invite in spite of his very busy schedule and kind enough to answer all our queries. I thank our management, Director Ma'am, Dr. Annie Jacob, our principal, Dr. Devasundari Ma'am, who is always motivating and encouraging us to conduct such wonderful events. Our Dean Student Affairs, Dr. Anita Manuel Ma'am, all the HODs, our EC HOD, Dr. Kavita Balamurugan, my colleagues, my dear students, student coordinators, and all the participants. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I also thank everyone, the principal ma'am and Dr. Devi Sundari, and all the participants who asked the really good questions. And it was really good for me also to connect with people back in India from here in Russia. And I really wish all the best for all the candidates. Their examinations are coming. Just go with calm nerves and have confidence. Write the exam fearlessly. That is the more important. That's what I always say. So be fearless when you write the examination, and all the best. And I also want to thank my friend Shanta Meena, who is in the IRS, who
Yes,
actually first
Connected.
suggested me that I should do it. And so all the best to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.